what I really love about it is, and what I love about Boise is how like well located the river is, especially in juxtaposition to like Boise State campus.
I love that the Boise River gives the Boise area a sense of community.
I can study there.
I think it brings people collectively to the area.
I personally like the Boise River for the natural beauty it brings and how convenient and close it is.
Whether that be for all different sorts of recreation, including floating, swimming, biking. The Greenbelt is a really good opportunity to get near the river. And so I think it's really valuable to get people outside, connected to nature and connected to each other.
The city of Boise is always growing, but the river is a constant, and it provides a great place to escape from the big city life, and it's just a great place to relax and unwind.
So like as a student here at Boise State, I have had like a really positive experience because I'm surrounded by this beautiful river ecosystem.
I've always lived in Boise and I've always grown up along the river. Fishing, swimming, floating, jumping in the river are some of my favorite things to do. I have a lot of appreciation for it just because it's been such an important resource in my life recreationally. It's also a huge water source for our community. And
you really see the community kind of be drawn to the river.
Just recreation for everybody. There's been a huge influx as people have moved to Boise and floating. And I think it's super important that we take care of it because a lot of people aren't aware of how much of a resource it is to our community.
The ReWild project is important to wildlife as it's a way for us to restore the habitat that's been lost due to human use on the river.
A lot of people, like they will run along the Greenbelt or walk their dogs. I would say that the people of Boise are kind of centralized around the Boise River. In that way, it's just so many elements of it are inside of our community.
The ReWild project is most important to wildlife because they use the river and the land around it more than anybody. Like I said, a lot of invasive species have come in and take over a lot of our plants that we've tried to grow in here. They're all native, but without our help and volunteers, the river will just kind of keep getting depleted and it won't be the same it used to be. When we come in here and we really work on the land and volunteers come out and plant the native plants, then the land will be restored.
And it's important to wildlife because it gives them a place to live and a place to keep their habitat clean and well maintained and how it should be.
And I think the wildlife could use it too because it's a huge resource for them as well and they can't access it or use as much of the land as they used to be able to.
For the city itself, it's a great way to educate the public on why we love the river so much, how to conserve it and restore it, but just really give back to the wildlife that we see every day, the habitat, diets that they need, all the native plants.
And so I think that protecting it and participating in organizations like Boise ReWild, we're able to kind of give back to the river and conserve it the best we can so that we can have this valuable resource for a long time.
I think it's really important to Boise in the fact that it keeps our river really safe and clean.
I think it's important to recognize that a lot of the habitats along the Boise River have gotten depleted and we need to restore the natural habitat. There's been a lot of invasive species taking over along the bank, both animals and plants, and they will completely take over all the native species, which will deplete the river and the resource that we need and use it as. I think the most important thing is just getting people out here, volunteers for projects like this.
Picking up trash, just like leaving it cleaner than how you found it, it's a great way to keep pollutants out of the water, trash off the ground, make the river and the river banks a prettier place, keeps the animals from getting into too much trouble, humans from getting into too much trouble, keeps the river around longer.
Gotcha. Having self-awareness, making sure that you leave things the way that you came to it, and making sure that while we enjoy the river, we're also taking care of it, whether that be like picking up trash or like being mindful where we're stepping and like making sure we're not stepping on any like regrowing plants.
I think it's really important just for people to care and show that they care through advocating or simply just picking up trash when you're walking by the river or volunteering for the ReWild project. Like there's a lot of different opportunities to be hands-on and get to care.
So organizations like Boise ReWild, it's a really great opportunity to give back to the river and get together as a community to conserve the river and its ecosystem.
And just spreading awareness. A lot of people love to use the river all throughout town and recreate on it, but they aren't aware of the damage they might be doing by that, or all the things that are going on with invasive species and habitat depletion. And just getting people out here and working and seeing what we're doing to make a difference can sometimes be the biggest impact.